Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and welcome to episode 20 of It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast. I am the Midnight Raven, and you join me in a very cold, wet, and stormy November. We actually have a storm in the UK at the minute, running havoc right outside my window. So I am in the warm, but it's a little chilly. Not gonna lie, heating bill is costing a bomb in the UK to keep warm, but we must carry on regardless. So today we're looking at episode 20. So we have been doing this book for the last few months, and we have been going through 365 self-discovery journal prompts, and we're going to continue this throughout 2025. Yes, cannot believe I just said that. 2025 is a little over 5-6 weeks as we're filming this. The year has absolutely flown by, and as the year flies by, mental health is something we should also look at in 2025. If you haven't been looking at your mental health, maybe take a mental health rain check and make sure everything is all right before going into 2025 so you can start fresh, renewed, and looking forward to the, dare I say it, the year ahead. So today we are looking at 5 more. We do 5 in each session. You can share your comments in the chats and well wishes and anything else you so wish to divulge. So without any further ado, this is episode 20 of It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast. Let's get into question number 51 in this amazing 365 days self-discovery. So today's question, number 1. When was a time that you felt the most alive? So this could be a hard question. When was the time you felt most alive? I must admit, I would say the time I felt most alive when I was probably a teenager. Living free, living life, no bills, no work, no commitments necessarily. We did own a dog. But a sense of feeling the most alive, I guess, was being a teenager during the summer, the freedom, hanging out with your friends, going for bike rides, chilling out with some pizza and a movie, just having that bit of freedom. I think, as you get older, things get harder, the world seems a bit grayer. And when you're a teenager, you live in this little bubble that everything is hunky dory and wonderful. And then as you get older, you learn the ins and outs of what it's really like to be on this planet. It's a struggle. Every day isn't the same. It's not all sitting by the park with your friends in the evening. It's working hard. It's dedication. It's long hours. So I think the time I felt the most alive was probably during my younger years as a teenager, socializing, hanging out, and just being free, I guess, free spirited, free natured. you know, if you wanted to do something, there wasn't, too much to stop you. You didn't have a job, you didn't have responsibilities, you didn't have kids, you didn't have a partner, or you may have had a boyfriend or girlfriend in high school. But you had a sense of more like you felt alive, you felt things were good, you felt things were all right. And then as you get older, the wheels turn, the world changes, and you see it in rose tinted glasses, basically. The world seems really rosy from this side, but over that side, as you get older, things get harder. Bills, work, life, marriage, relationships, they all become difficult. Not necessarily unmanageable, but they can put a strain on you, as well as your mental health, your physical well being, your relationships. And as a teenager, you just don't think like that. You think you're going to be friends with your high school friends until you die, and then you drift apart, and you don't think about the ramifications of having to get a job when you're a teenager. You're not thinking that far ahead. So for me personally, I would say when I was a teenager was the time I felt most alive. Let me know down below, when did you feel most alive? When it was when you were a teenager, when it was when you first got married, had your first child, for me, I'm going to go for my teenage years, because then everything from then did seem to go downhill. Not going to lie. Okay, question 2. Hopefully not so deep. What kind of situations make it hard to feel good about yourself? Okay, so we're going to do some self-reflection. This should be fun. So, just to reiterate, what kind of situations make it hard to feel good about yourself? For me, I think what I found hard to feel good about myself was my eating disorder that I had when I was younger. So, through my teenage years, the years that I said were really good, I also suffered an eating disorder. I had onset anorexia. I had to see a nutritionist. Um, and I have a love-hate relationship with food. I need to eat food, but I don't necessarily want to. Um, Back then, I fell into a dark place. Not going to divulge too much. I fell into a dark place due to circumstances in my life, and ended up picking up an eating disorder. Now, this eating disorder did stay with me for quite a few years, and it has had a knock-on effect on my nutrition and my well-being ever since. I am a very picky eater. I stick to food I know. I stick to food I like. I don't usually gravitate either way, although I am trying. But having the eating disorder back then did give me a very warped look at how I thought about myself. And since then, it's been kind of the same. Little bits here and there have changed about how I feel about myself. But when it comes to the weight, the eating disorder affected everything, affected relationships, affected how I looked, affected how I felt. Short-temperedness, never having anything to wear, always feeling you're not good enough, always wanting to change stuff about me. I dyed my hair so much during the earlier years of my life. My hair should have fallen out, although I didn't use bleach. It was just a home dye. And then I just didn't like any clothes I had. I gravitated towards the color black because black isn't a color where people stand out. I didn't want to stand out. So I gravitated towards blacks instead of color. I have got a bit of color in my wardrobe now. I am starting to try, even if it's a black top, it will have a bit of color. I'm trying to change slowly, but it is ingrained in me, and I do like wearing black, and I do feel comfortable in black. And I think that's the thing that I gravitated towards, was a sense of comfort, hiding myself away. But yeah, the kind of situation that makes it hard to feel good about myself was my eating disorder, that did put a big chunk of my life into a bit of a spiral for quite a few years. And then my eating disorder has carried on in one form or another. Not necessarily hating how I look now. I have grown to try and love the way I look. My weight is still iffy. I still suffer from deficiencies, which are not good. But I don't know if you've noticed, but my hair is on fleek. It is blonde. It does need re-dyeing, but my hair is the healthiest it has ever been, which doesn't make any sense. My body is deteriorating, but my hair is looking really good. Hair masks, swear by them. Use them every week. Right, let's go on to something a bit more positive, hopefully. But let me know down below what situations make it hard for you to feel good about yourself. And if you have an eating disorder of any kind, or you've had that kind of thing, share in the comments how you've done, how you've come through it, and give me some advice if you have some. Okay, question number 3. Are you content with your love life right now? Now, that is a hard question. That is a hard question. Are you content with your love life right now? Well, as you all know, if you have been part of my channel, I was in a relationship for 13 years. We split just before the pandemic hit. Oh, the luckiness that we had. So during the pandemic, I still lived with my ex. And then as the pandemic carried on, I eventually moved out. After moving out, I ended up here in this little house in my little 2-bed flat. And after that, I did continue to see my ex for about 3 years. We hung out, we chatted every day. We practically acted like a couple, but we weren't a couple. There were strict lines that we were not a couple. It was more friends with benefits, let's be honest. And we kept in contact, and everything was hunky dory for about 3 years. In March of this year, he gained a partner, and I'm happy for him. Me, myself, I have spoken to a guy for around 8 months. Some of you behind the scenes know. I have actually met the guy now. I have met up with him, and we had a wonderful day. We spent some time in Peterborough. We had a drink. We had some meal. I stayed in a hotel down there because it does take me about 2 hours to get there, give or take. He traveled from where he was. We had a wonderful evening. And at the minute, we are not going any further with the relationship currently. We are talking. We are hanging out if and when we can fit it in. I obviously live 2 hours away. He lives about 2 hours away from me. But am I content with my love life right now? At the moment, I would say yes. With everything that's going on in my life, if you have watched my videos for a short while, you will know that I have health problems going on and mental health. My son, if you have watched my recent video, collapsed and he is having some problems at the minute. So we are going to and from the hospital at the minute. And at the minute, if I was to try and fit a love life in, I don't know how I would fit that in at the minute. As much as I would love to have a significant other and I would love to have someone to share the rest of my life with, at the minute, with the guy I am talking to, things are fine as they are for the minute. We've got so much going on my end with my boy and my health. As you all know, I'm going to the doctor, and so is my son. And with mental health counseling still going on, as much as we would love to be together, we're currently not. That doesn't mean that won't happen in the future. It's just on a bit of a hiatus, and we are both on the same page. And if he was to turn around one day and want to change that, would I be more than willing? More than likely. I do like him. We had a wonderful time. We have spoken since March of this year, and I would love nothing more than to eventually one day have a partner. But we're going to have to play that by ear because a relationship isn't just one-sided. The two of you have to be invested in it and want it. And if it's not the right time, it can be tumultuous to start a relationship when it's just not the right time. At the minute, we're enjoying each other's company. We text, we call, we leave each other voice notes. I know about his life, he knows about mine. And you know what? At the minute, it's just kind of nice. It's just kind of nice having somebody caring about you and speaking to you. And he's a wonderful man, not gonna lie. Would I be hopeful that we would get together? Absolutely. I personally would love nothing more. But we're going to have to leave that in the hands of the miracle workers who keep putting things in my life to try me. Need to have a word with the man upstairs to say, look, Raven needs to find the love of her life, okay? Give her a break, all right? So, now we've divulged some of my love life. So the question is, am I content? I would say for now. Raven is pretty content. Okay, 54. Name 3 people that make you feel happy and alive. So this could be pretty obvious. My kids are obviously one of them. They try my patience sometimes. They cause me no end of problems. But at the end of the day, they're my boys. And boy, do they try. I I have a very resilient nature, thank God, because sometimes it's just one thing after another. But I have resilience, patience, and we do have some happy times. It's not always negative. It's just things at the minute are just snowballing, and it seems like the world is falling apart. It really isn't, but it just seems like it. So I would say my boys make me feel happy and alive. Another person that makes me feel happy and alive would be my grandchild, would be Willow. Willow is coming on. She has started to walk. She is a menace to everything that she sees because she's just throwing stuff and chucking stuff now, and she wants to be in every drawer and every cupboard, and sometimes it's a nightmare. But again, there are those days where she's just an absolute angel, and it makes up for all the bad stuff. And a third person that makes me feel happy and alive. Happy and alive. It would probably be the guy I'm talking to. My secret guy, as everybody calls him. My secret stud, as I was told. Um, he makes me feel wanted and needed, and he messages me daily. He messages me at work. We message good night and good morning. And he puts a smile on my face. And you know what? There's no harm in that. There's no harm in having that person behind the scenes just making you smile. Sometimes for no reason. He just texts you and sends you a hug. It's the little things sometimes that can make you feel happy and alive. It doesn't have to be overwhelming gestures or massive amounts of money, although I would love massive amounts of money. Uh, a little thing is sending a hug to somebody and asking how your day was, or, you know, turning up at their house one day and just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" But yeah, I would say they're the people that make me feel happy and alive. My kids, my grandchild, and the man I'm talking to. Okay, let me know down below who makes you feel happy and alive. And the last question of the day, because my podcasts are around 20 minutes, they are bite size. How do you feel about your relationships in your life at the moment? So this could be any relationship. Doesn't necessarily have to be a partner. It could be the relationship with your kids, the relationship with work, the relationships with your friends, the relationships with your family. So at the minute, if I was to say the relationships in my life, I would say they have got better over the last few months. Obviously, with having counseling and having a lot of health problems and stuff, I have been a little bit less enthusiastic about meeting people and hanging out and doing stuff because I'm either tired or drained or stressed. And me personally, I don't like to put that on other people. I am a very closed off person, and if I am having a stressed, overwhelming day, I'll keep myself to myself. I'll lock myself away for a day and I will keep it to myself. But my relationships at the moment, I think, are good. I think the relationship with my youngest has improved. He moved in earlier this year, and I think we have got a better relationship now than we did have. Um, Obviously, he has some health problems, and so do I. So at the minute, we do have a lot in common. We are going to the hospital together. It's like a field trip. Um, my eldest has a lot going on with work and his daughter, and I do see him. Maybe it's not as much as I'd love to because he does work hard. Um, Relationships in my life outside of my kids would be my sisters. They are part of my life. Don't see them very often. I do see them and we do hang out. Sometimes wish it was more often, but being overwhelmed and stressed and stuff and having a lot going on, sometimes it's a bit hard to find the time as we don't quite live near each other. Um, and other relationships in my life, like I said, significant other. I don't have a significant other at the minute, but I would love to down the future. And the guy I'm talking to, we get on really well. We had a wonderful date, like I said recently, and we're just going to see where it takes us, because life is short, and it would be nice to find that significant other. It would. After all these years, it would be nice to get back into the swing of it. Um, and have those moments of watching a movie together, or going for a stroll in the park, going for a meal, and just having that bond with another person again that I had many, many years ago with my ex. But yeah, these are the 5 questions today. So we have concentrated on a lot about being happy, a lot about relationships, and a lot about love. So let's go through the questions one more time and share your thoughts in the chat. So question 1 today was, when was a time that you felt the most alive? Or when was the last time you felt the most alive? What kind of situations make it hard to make you feel good about yourself? Now, if it gets too personal, only share what you want to share. Question 3 is, are you content with your love life right now? I would say 50-50. Name 3 people that make you feel happy and alive. And remember, this can be anybody. You don't necessarily have to say your kids, just because they're in the other room probably listening to you. And question 5, how do you feel about your relationships in your life at the moment? As always, only divulge as much or as little as you want to. Remember, you can share your thoughts, opinions, and advice for everybody that's watching this. If you do have any questions, as always, me, you can put them in the chat. This is episode 20 of the It's Not All Doom and Gloom podcast. I do hope to do at least one more of these before the end of the year, as this is actually the 23rd of November as I am filming this. I do hope to do at least one or possibly 2 more of these before the end of the year, and then next year we will continue to go through this journal, as I do believe it is helping me little by little, and I hope you are getting something out of these videos as much as I am. If you want to like and subscribe and give it a big thumbs up, that would be amazing. Just to reiterate, I do have a second channel called Thrifting with Raven, so if you'd like to join that and you like reselling and vintage and charity shops, I will leave a link in the description. Also, you can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And I hope you all have a happy Thanksgiving, which is coming up. I believe it is next week. I myself am in the UK, but my American fellows are having Thanksgiving. If you want to like and subscribe, that would be amazing, and give it a thumbs up. You can support the podcast via PayPal, Super Chat, or Super Thanks. All of it goes back into funding my YouTube channel, and I will see you all very soon for another episode of It's Not All Doom and Gloom. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you very soon. I love you all. Take care. Bye, guys.